Good morning, good afternoon, good almost evening for the East Coast people. Happy Saturday, y'all. This is your boy James, and you're watching my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews, where I'm here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Not gonna happen this video, but no worries. We'll live to fight another day, as we always do. Joining me as always is my co-host, Mrs. Best. Y'all say what's up to her.
Hello, Motel. Happy Saturday. I hope everyone ate lots, liked the video, and let's prepare for the rest of this bullshit ass year. Let's do it.
Yes, yes, yes. Let's do it. Make sure you guys are also subscribed to Mrs. Best. Any recaps or reviews of reality TV that I don't cover on my channel, we cover on Mrs. Best channel, such as Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that's currently on, and also Love and Hip Hop Miami. If you guys want to catch our reactions and reviews of those shows, you will subscribe to Mrs. Best and be there for us when we do our lives. So, without further ado, y'all, this is Real Housewives Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 11. Before I describe or recap any of this episode, I want to say this episode was stellar. They get an A+ from me. I loved every part of this episode. Mary was the MVP for more reasons than one. So I want to give a shout out to Mary Cosby for being authentic and sharing something that is extremely personal that most people would not share. So Mary, this is a shout out to you personally. You made this episode, and all I'm gonna say is for the reunion, Bravo and that call center and Andy Cohen. Mary better have first seat at the reunion. That's all I'm gonna say to y'all. Mary better have first seat at the reunion. I don't care who sits across from her and the other thing, which more than likely will probably be either Lisa or Heather. But I know Mary deserves to have first seat after this episode. She deserves to have the first seat. If she doesn't, then I know the real problem that Bravo has, as we all know, as color and black folks. Zeta, I have not seen you in such a long time. It is so good for you to be here. I love when you show up. Thank you so, so much. Jim Bunny, happy Saturday. I'm glad you made it live, my love. And yes, this episode made a lot of us cry, especially because we all have seen this conversation happen, but it doesn't necessarily go the way that Mary did it. And I can appreciate her for this. So we are happy that, you know, this episode happened. I stellar episode. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the episode actually opens up with Heather and Whitney. They are putting together a little camping day trip for the ladies, and pretty much what they're saying after everything that happened at Mary's house with the event, they want to kind of reel the ladies back in with each other and kind of hopefully work through the issues that they have now that we kind of know that everything's on the table. So the ladies are putting together all of the, Girl Scout camp things that they were doing. And Whitney brings up Meredith and how, she ain't seen it for Meredith right now because of what Meredith did. And what Whitney is talking about is when she grabbed Meredith's phone to turn the volume up to hear Sean, which is Angie's husband, talking in the podcast, because Meredith was trying to prove some point about Sean speaking on her son. And Whitney's like, I don't like how she did that. And they were making fun of her bangs and everything. It was a hilarious episode. Hey there, Shani. Thank you for being here. We love you. And yes, I'm happy you made that thought that turkey. Because when I tell you, my mom made the bomb ass turkey, I'm still eating it and almost chewing on the bones. I'm just telling y'all. But they're pretty much saying, Meredith is very uptight, which she is. Meredith is uptight, Meredith. So they're like thinking she's not going to participate, and that's what's wrong with her. Heather's trying to take a step back because she ain't trying to get on Meredith's bad side. I said, look at you, Heather. We see you, though. You little sneaky snake, you. I see you, but that's okay. Heather moving strategically around this group. If y'all don't catch it now, y'all will see it at the reunion. I promise you. Make sure you have a plate for me because I didn't do anything this year. Oh, of course, you could have told me. I'd have definitely sent you one. We had plenty of food. Wasn't that many of us because everyone decided to do something different this Thanksgiving, which, it happens. But yeah, you always got a plate at my house. Always, always. The bang, oh Lord Jesus, them bangs give me nightmares. I'll never want. Them bangs reminded me of Courtney Cox in Scream 3. If y'all don't remember what Courtney Cox's bangs look like in Scream 3, I encourage you just to watch it. You don't have to watch the whole movie, but just watch a scene with her bangs and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So, they put together the trip, and that was, pretty much it. They sent the invites and everything, and they go forward. Mrs. Best, is there anything you want to add to Whitney and Heather's little scene before we move on to the next one?
No, I do think Whitney needs to pick a side. That's your cousin, yes, honey, but that's your cousin because y'all was allegedly fucking on each other in the family. So let's not call a spade a spade. That's what went on in Salt Lake City. That's what happened with the Mormons back in the day at some point. So I don't I feel Whitney, you need to choose a side. I can tell that Whitney this season as a whole is struggling with aligning with the women that she's been on this show with from day one versus aligning with what's truly right from wrong. And Whitney do some dumb stuff, but I think she knows right from wrong, and I think she knows that Heather is just wrong. But she
Mm,
still continue to hang out with her, and I can't understand it.
I guess blood loyalty over water loyalty. I don't know. She didn't have no business grabbing Meredith. That's the only thing I'm gonna give Meredith is that Whitney had no business grabbing her phone. If you can't hear it, tell me to turn it up then,
If
or
you grab a phone from me the way that Meredith did in other friend groups, Meredith would have got her ass handed to her. If that was the Housewives of New Jersey, and I'm not even going to go to my beautiful, strong, black, educated people. If you go to the Housewives of New Jersey, they would have shook the table and brought Meredith down with it. If you go to the Housewives of New York, the new generation and the old generation, they would have pulled her skirt or pulled a piece of satin or silk from her dress. If this was the Housewives of Miami, she would have been thrown into the damn ocean. So Meredith is the example, I think, of privilege, and y'all know what type of privilege I'm talking about, that she's probably accustomed and used to dealing with. If she would have done that to me, I couldn't
You know what
hear.
it is, and I'm gonna get to it when I get to their scene. I think Meredith is jealous that Mary came back, would have sent her support because y'all have to understand, Meredith was Mary's pretty much only support on this show. So I think Meredith is hating the fact that Mary came back and everybody is gravitating to her. I really think that's what it is. So we're going to go ahead and move on to that scene since we're talking about it. So Meredith goes to an art gallery and she invites Mary. She said that she was shocked that she didn't get a phone call from Mary after Mary threw her out of her house, which that's not what Mary did, but okay, Meredith. Mary, before she gets there, she goes to go check on her son, but he's not answering the door. So she said that she's going to go meet up with Meredith and she'll come back home and talk to him later. Mary knows something is wrong, but she's itching yet. She's not really like attack mode. She's just kind of like, okay, I know I have to handle this delicately. So she goes out to Park City, which we understand is an hour away from Salt Lake City because Meredith has an Airbnb or a rental property or whatever she does when she films the show. And once once Mary gets there, she kind of is a little standoffish, a little bit, which I would be too, because this is my friend. You walked out of my home, and we're supposed to be real close. So Meredith starts off the conversation, which was wrong as hell, and I'm gonna get to it. I had to like two different dices for you to. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, what I'm gonna say about this, and this is why I didn't like what Meredith did. Meredith said, you kicked me out of your home, which was I thought was out of character even for you. Is there something going on? And Mary was like, why would that be out of character for me? Because I didn't ask you to leave. She goes, no, I just felt unwelcomed at your home, Mary. I really did. And Mary was like, Mary, in that moment, you guys were hollering and screaming in my home, and I'm trying to get control of the situation. And I said, if you are not going to listen, then you can leave my home. And Meredith is not seeing it that way. Meredith says that it was an attack because clearly, you and Angie had been commiserating on me. And it was like, okay, Meredith, now you're reaching. Now you're reaching. I could understand if Meredith said, okay, well, Mary, um, you just looked in my direction when you said get out of my house. So I'm in a heated argument with Angie. And if I'm looking at you, it just seemed like you just told me to get out of your house. So I apologize if directly you weren't saying that to me, but that's how I took it. Because I could understand if Meredith came that direction. Then I could say, yeah, I can understand in the heat of the moment, y'all. If I'm looking in one direction and you're looking at me and that's what I'm hearing, then I'm going to take that personal. But what I would not have done is if Mary said, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you can't control it, I'm like, oh, okay. All I saw was you say, get out of my house. So I didn't like that, Meredith. I didn't like that at all because she was talking to Angie too. She wasn't excluding you, which we'll get into at the camping trip. But Mary was tired of hearing it. Mary was like, okay, you have a good day. Because Mary knew Meredith was on some fuck shit. So she was like, no, get out. She go. to
You
go.
know, I'm sorry. I'm gonna call it out. This why white people be irritating me because y'all be coming with this damn white privilege, and this is what we mean. That the tables had turned and Mary was acting the same exact way that Meredith was acting in her house. Meredith would have a problem with that. It would be a discussion. She'd be making herself look to be a victim. This white lady don't want to acknowledge that she went up at somebody else's house acting a fool and was properly and appropriately handled. Either you shut the fuck up and put your cigarette out, or you get the hell up out of my house. We somebody please go show Meredith this episode of Martin. Please. You're on mute, my darling.
I gotta learn how to stop doing that. It was very simple. That was very simple. You're going back and forth. The conversation's getting elevated. Angie is standing up. So Mary was like, "Hey, y'all, cut it out. Okay, it's enough. That's enough." And she literally did to both people. So Meredith acting like a privileged, victimized white woman, as you know
And
most
that's how
people do.
half of the Salt Lake City fans are too. There's some cool ones like the ones that's here up in this live, but half of the fans be acting like they can't understand it. If Jen Shaw, if Monica, if Mary acted the way that Meredith and Angie was acting. I mean, Angie kicked the damn chair back and was tearing up her furniture. I mean, it was all sorts of stuff. You don't go to somebody else's home and act a fool. If it's a rented space, fine. But to act a fool in somebody else's home is ridiculous. And now we seeing why Meredith and Lisa have had a friendship that long. To be friends with somebody so crass for so long means that you yourself must be just like them in some way because birds of a feather flock together.
Mhm.
Not let none of these clear people get away with it. Not the bangs, not the tear up wigs and weaves, none of it. None of it. I'm
Absolutely.
on their necks the way this black is on my skin. They get on my nerves, all of them.
Absolutely. So then we move on to a scene with Angie and Lisa. They take their kids to the aquarium. And this made me look at Lisa as the snake that she is, y'all. So the kids are directly having a moment, so they walk away. And Angie and Lisa sit down and have their talk. And what was so interesting, y'all gotta watch people like Lisa, because this was the conversation. Basically, Lisa said when it came to Whitney and her lying, Angie, you were not there. All you had to say to Whitney was, Whitney, Lisa's not a liar. Lisa would never go out and do that. Like, have my back. And I said, Lisa, a couple of episodes ago, Bronwyn said to you specifically that when it came to Heather, you could have told Heather that that's not my experience of Bronwyn and that you should give her a chance and not do that. Bronwyn said the same thing that you just told Angie. So what makes that situation not okay? Because you took Bronwyn like, oh no, Heather told me this, Heather told me that, and I believed her because she's my friend and everything. So why is it okay for you to be that way, but you're holding Angie to that same standard that Bronwyn holds you at? Huh, Lisa? Does anybody have an answer for Lisa? I want to know because I thought that was the pot calling the kettle black. To me, how are you going to sit there and hold Angie accountable for a standard that you don't even hold yourself accountable when one of your friends before the show came to you and told you, hey, this lady is saying this and you're not defending me, but you want Angie to defend you?
Lisa is, I think, anybody acting surprised by Lisa being a bad person, I'm sorry, I'm saying it, is slow. Lisa has shown us since season one that she is not loyal to anybody or anything but herself. And that includes her kids and her husband. I don't care what nobody says. She's not loyal and don't give a damn in real life and full time about nobody but herself. So I don't think anyone should be surprised at Lisa having a double standard or thinking that things, that none of it is surprising for me personally. Lisa's on this show because of how shitty of a person and a friend that she is, and because she's still trying to push her mediocre tequila. Todd, you're muted.
Damn it. Okay, now you're not late, my love. You made it. But I'm going to say this. I just felt that was so deplorable. I just felt like your friend asked you to do the same thing you're asking Angie to do. And because Angie's so stupid, this is where me and Angie kind of meet at a crossroads because you were sitting there. when Bronwyn told Lisa, I need you to have my back, and had this exact verbatim conversation. And you sit up there like, well, damn, you didn't do that to Bronwyn, so why should, like, y'all women let Lisa get away with too much. Y'all let her get away with way too much. Lisa don't give a damn about no one but herself and Wendy's drive-through. I'm trying to tell you, and Taco Bell. Don't forget Taco Bell too, because she loved her some Taco Bell.
That's
Um,
why her skin looked like leather, according to Monica. Because if you eat nothing but fake and fast processed foods, you gonna look like what you eating.
you're right, because I really think the reason Henry didn't have any kids show up to her party is because she forgot about the whole birthday and forgot to set it up the party, and it was last minute. Yeah, it was.
Most parents with Lisa's like money and status, since she loves to talk about it a lot,
Mhm.
especially in Salt Lake City, the land of camps for kids and programs for kids. Most parents would have paid to put the boy in therapy, paid to have someone around him more, paid more attention to him, knowing that his only really close net relationship within youth was his brother. Lisa ain't done none of that. All she's done is cry on camera about some makeup that still make her look like she got an old lady mouth and show us that her husband can't drive. We don't, Lisa doesn't care. I'm not, and it takes a lot for me to say something about someone's like parenting as a whole, but there's a lack of it. All we see is her starting shit, causing beef, and then acting innocent.
Well, and that's the thing, like, even still with the parenting thing, that's not even something Angie even did. So for her to even sit up there and be like, you talked about my parenting and everything, it was like, that's not what she did. She said that she's an active mother, and, she doesn't let her child just get babysat by the TV or the video game. She is there. So when her child does call her, yes, she needs to be there. But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting when I was listening to this conversation of Lisa wanting Angie to say, "Hey, Whitney, that's not my experience of Lisa. She's a good friend and everything like that." I was like, "Well, where was that for Brian? Where was that for Brian?"
Oh, DM rocks. That comment from Shawnee and DM rocks. Y'all are both right on it because a lot of older siblings do end up picking up the slack for parents in general. It's just for some reason people talk about it more in households of color, but it happens in other households as well. So you are
Mhm.
probably very much so correct. I feel like Lisa's husband and the older son did most of the raising. And DM Rocks, that is wild. They would rather mess with a convicted felon who intentionally took advantage of vulnerable populations. I work for a nonprofit with seniors, specifically through Department of Health. And so I don't like I don't like at all that they are willing to be cool with Jen over Monica.
It just speaks to their character.
They want to be
It
friends
just
with who's
speaks to
gonna
their
keep their
character.
lies and their secrets.
Exactly. Because why would you trust a felon who literally committed the crime that she was accused of, literally did it, admitted she did it, but y'all more mad over someone who was a part, not the full contributor, but a part of that? Because you know what? To me, I feel like those three in particularly had something to do with that page. It was giving information to them.
I
I
think
really do believe.
Heather and Meredith and Lisa were all just as involved in the page as Jen and Monica were accused of, and especially Heather, because who gets punched in the face but is still willing to be friends with somebody? Once you get physical with me, the friendship is over. It's done.
Absolutely. And you know what? You know why Lisa never asked her that? Is because Lisa already feels this way.
Because she is.
And that's why, and it's because it's been said by more than one person. So she's not gonna ask because she already feels like, everyone already thinks this of her. So that's why she hasn't done it. Yep, I agree. That's just what it is. Money is the rule of all evil. We need it to live, but we will kill people over it. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? But y'all, let's move on because we spent enough. I just thought it was that, and that conversation just blew my mind because I was like, wait, how you gonna tell one friend to do it, but you can't even do it for your other friend? That was just crazy as hell for me. So moving on from there, it's the day of Heather and Whitney's little camp trip. Everyone gets there. We have Brittany also coming there, and y'all forgive me because I don't remember this lady's name. I don't think this is how you say it. So charge it to my mind, not my heart. Mayla. Mayla, that's Whitney's little friend. That's what her name is.
Maylee. Maylee.
Maylee. Maylee. Okay.
Yes.
Maylee. Sorry, y'all. Because she's so forgettable. So I'm like, dang, I don't want to forget his lady's name. So Maylee.
Damn.
Maylee. But Maylee.
I didn't know that she was in the episode.
Yes, no, she was there. That's why I was like, oh, Mayla.
Oh
That's why I
God.
was like, oh, Mayla there. Okay, so Maylee. I'm gonna mess up this baby's name throughout this whole life, y'all. Her name
Like
is Maylee.
Melly, but May. Think of the month May and just add Lee. May Lee.
Maylee. That just sounds racist.
It's
Okay, well, okay, fine. Maylee. So Maylee is there as well. So they all get there. They do a little activity where they're jumping around the stacks, and Heather makes up some crazy ass story about how her great great grandfather, when he came from England, he created this game. So they brought that in polygamy here. And I was looking at Heather like, that's not something you say in a confessional, Heather. You just, what's wrong with Heather? What's wrong with Heather? Like, that just sounded stupid. Like, that's why Bravo had to say not a true story. Thank you, Bravo for saving her, because that sounded crazy coming out her mouth. It really did. So the teams are split into two. So we have Brittany, Heather. Who did Heather have on her team? Maybe Mayla and somebody else. And then Whitney's team, I knew that on the back of my head. She had Bronwyn, Mary, and Meredith, which was the wrong team. I would have been over there on Heather's team personally, because I know Mary wasn't going to do anything, and I knew that Meredith had on too much clothes out there to jump in the bags. And Bronwyn looked like she was ready. So they all, do the little jump thing, and then Heather's team ends up winning. So once they sit around in a collective circle and everything, Lisa brings up that Brittany is back with Jared, and they just went to Vegas because I guess Donnie and Marie Osmond had a residency in Vegas. I don't
They've
know.
had it for years. It's
I don't know them, so I can't. I
That's
mean,
been like the only thing that they've done. Y'all know I'm in Vegas at least twice a year, and I always see them on the side of the damn flamingo,
I'm
looking
in
like they
Vegas
still in
too,
the
but
'80s.
I don't pay attention to Donnie. I don't even know. I couldn't tell you. Do they sing? Is that what they're known for, singing?
Yes.
Okay, I don't even know that. So, like, I'll tell you, I don't know nothing about the Osmonds. I don't know nothing about them. So I'm sorry, y'all, if I'm coming across very ignorant in this moment. But I'm sorry, I don't know nothing about them. But anywho, basically, Jared and Brittany are back together, which was such a ridiculous thing because Brittany's like, oh my gosh, yes, we're back together, and he's so soft, and we're doing really well. And once again, I'm Mary sitting there. Why do we care? Why do we care? And everyone's looking at Mary like, oh damn, And somehow the conversation turns into manners or something. I don't know if Mary brought it up. I forgot who brought it up, but in terms of that, Brittany interjects as Mary's talking, and Mary said, I'm not even talking to you, shut up. And Brittany's like, oh my god, just totally just doing just the most. So Mary calls out Meredith. Mary says, Meredith, it was really rude of you to leave my home. And Meredith says, I don't think it was rude. You asked me to leave and I left. I didn't feel no longer welcome. She goes, I did not ask you to leave. I was talking to you and Angie. Y'all were getting elevated and the things were happening with words. I told Angie to stop. I told you to stop. Meredith don't see it that way. Meredith wants to be the victim. And Meredith was like, no, that's not what happened. You asked me to leave my home and I don't regret doing it. And
This is coming from Miss who just last season, you can leave. Now suddenly you don't understand being frustrated and wanting to ask somebody to leave. Now suddenly you don't understand. Meredith understands. She understands.
I know she does. And somehow Lisa decided to play, let's jump Mary and interjects her conversation. And Mary's like, Lisa, get out of my face because you fake. You're faker than everybody here. And Lisa says, no, fuck you, Mary. You're fake. You do all the. She goes, oh, I'm fake, but you're the one that, can call Meredith all kind of horrors and shit, but I'm the fake one. When Mary told Lisa, you can jump your ass in that water, I almost fell out of my chair. I said Mary got them all together. And I think this was the fight where Mary said something about her son, but they edited it out, which I'm glad they saved Mary from that because I don't think I could have taken that. I don't like Lisa, but at the same time, we couldn't ignore that. So I'm glad that they edited that.
I disagree. These women like to say things just as bad about each other's kids. Lisa commented and got at Angie because who does that to your friend? I'm mad because you're always rushing off the phone with me to raise your child. So I don't think they were saving Mary. I think with this cast, there's certain things that they cannot edit and show Mary doing and saying, even though they're just as bad or extremely similar to what these other women are doing, because people gonna come down on Mary harder than they would the rest of these clear women. I can't stand it.
Absolutely. I mean, they're gonna come harder on the black lady
And
amongst
she
all of
kept it real with Lisa. Everybody acts afraid of Lisa. Everyone on this cast, for the most part, with the exception of Bronwyn and Mary, they are all so concerned with being liked and keeping their job as housewives on Bravo that we don't get anything that's authentic. We get a bunch of disingenuous bullshit that turns into nastiness that I feel is just watching all types of craziness. So,
Is that what
yes,
happened?
thank you, Jen Bunny.
Oh, that's
So
what
that's what
happened.
I mean. Mary doesn't just come for people unless the people come for her first. So it's there's no need to edit anything. They just need to hold everybody else accountable the same way that they like to hold Mary accountable. That's production and the cast. That's why I don't like Salt Lake City. I'm only here for James because these people be so full of it in the worst and most negative lights. In my opinion, they are everything wrong with this country, and not because they are white, but just how they think that they can get away with certain things because of
No,
money
it's
and
just
they can
that
do whatever they can for a dollar.
all these women, and particularly the the clear ones, they have a way of being nonsensical, and black people are not afforded that same opportunity to be nonsensical. Hold on, sorry, y'all. But black people are not allowed to be nonsensical. We have no room for it. But white people can do that all the time. And that's where I kind of feel like as a society, we need to start checking these behaviors because there's no way that Lisa can get away with talking about someone's son addiction, but we're more focused on Mary saying the R word. I mean, that's crazy to me. I didn't know that that happened. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Jim Bunny. I had no idea that that happened. True, the easier are the clearest, but I agree with Meredith. If my house come out of your mouth, I'm going. But see, I
If
agree with
you
that
act
if
a
that's
fool in
what happened.
somebody's house, you have to expect to be asked to leave. Because I'll tell you this, everybody knows. I don't like too many people in my shit, but if you act a fool in my shit, you could get the fuck out. And if you don't like hearing it, then act right. It's called being accountable for your choices.
But
So
that's not how that happened, though. See, that's the thing. I think that's where, because I agree with you a bit, say what I do. I agree with that 100%. But that's not what happened. What happened was she was telling both of them, but because they were such in the heat of the moment, she missed the part where she was saying, Angie and Meredith, if you guys cannot behave, get out of my house. She was talking to both of them. Meredith just wanted it to be solely based on her because she already had in her mind that Mary was going to pick Angie regardless.
see,
And
the
Mary was
thing
just,
is, Mary would not have asked her to leave if she was acting right. Now, if Mary was like, just get out because of a disagreement or because Meredith's not siding with her on something, then that's a little extra. But if someone's asking you to leave after somebody done kicked the chair down, standing up, yelling at each other, going back and forth, then yeah, you got to expect to leave. Now, I know a lot of people feel like, damn, if you ask me to leave, I don't care what the circumstance, I'm not going to come back. Then, bitch, don't come back. But you're not going to come here acting like that. So it shouldn't be enough to end a friendship. I have close friends that I've put out for acting a fool because me and James got a friend that like to drink too much and get to crying loudly. And if she does that shit, I'd be like, you can go. You need to grab you some Kleenex. I'll help you with some counseling here and there. I'm not even supposed to do that. Whatever we got to do. But you either gonna calm down or get the hell out. I'm not gonna deal with that. People's homes are sanctuaries, though they're filming for this show. I'm sorry, y'all. I am Martin 2.0. My husband is right next to me. You act a fool, you will get the fuck up out of here. I don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Don't apply. If it does, it does. As long as you are out and off of my property, I'm happy. But Meredith is too much. Meredith is too much. If the tables was turned, mm-mm.
when I tell you, but as I said, it just, for me, I don't see it Meredith's way. I can't see it Meredith's this way because she was talking about. I think I get being in the moment. Maybe you didn't see it, but I know watching the show back, I know she has to see it by now.
I think Meredith thought that her and Mary's friendship afforded her the right to be able to get upset and not be put out. That's what it's giving, especially throughout the whole episode. I was the only one there for Mary when none of these other women were.
It's
That
like
doesn't give you the right to disrespect her house, though. You simple minded bitch. It does not give you that right. Get the hell out.
no. Here's the thing, Mary, because she when she said that, that pissed me off too. You're on a show because of Mary. Let's not get it twisted. And I hate when people do this. Salt Lake City exists on Bravo TV because the producers were interested in Mary. They said it out there on, they came out in the interviews. They said that Mary's storyline was impossible to pass up. Because who the hell marries her step grandfather? So yes, I would have did the show too. I would have said, "Man, we want you. Pick five of your girlfriends. We'll interview them. If they win, they win." That's just how I would have done it too. So yes, and that is the ironic thing. It's like you're on this show because of this woman. It's only successful because of this woman. Let's also make that very clear too. Y'all had to do a whole commercial to say Mary was back, and she wasn't even a full time cast member. So Meredith convinced me with the bullshit. She can. Um, I don't agree with what Mary did. Just get that. Oh no, we know. Oh,
Oh
we
no,
know.
that's personal.
We
Cause I
know.
got some good friends that I'm not gonna lie to y'all who have acted a fool in my house, and I didn't put them out. But I think with this cast and how they've been treating Mary, this her whole tenure on the show, and the fact that they have a show because of her. You know, Heather said it when Mary left. They didn't know if the show could continue with her being gone, and so Monica was kind of the thing that saved the show. This show's ratings were terrible prior, so I just feel like give a little bit more credit and respect. But I think that Lisa and Meredith specifically have to look in their own eyes and realm as if they have everything that other people may want, as if they have the perfect life and all of these things, when the reality is something very, very different without, attacking them. So
Absolutely. I agree 100% with that because it's like y'all are crazy if y'all really think like putting this lady on the outs again is the way to go. It's just so crazy to me. But moving on from there, that was pretty much the end of the little camp trip. I mean, they then have Meredith. We're at Meredith's house, and she's doing the dinner for her bat mitzvah. And she said that she only invited a few of her good friends. Somehow, Brittany made the catalog, which I was like, "Y'all are such good friends." Oh, okay, and Bronwyn made it. Now, this is the first time that Bronwyn's husband Todd is meeting Heather because Heather was calling him Alan and everything like that, and so worried about him not having no prenup with Bronwyn. And I'm not gonna go over everything in this scene because this was a Mary takedown scene, and I don't like it. So I'm not gonna mention everything, but just the key points of that. You know what? Honestly, I want her to come back. I do. The reason why I would want her to come back is because she didn't bow down. Now, Bronwyn is starting to rub me wrong this episode. It was the car conversation with Lisa, her, and Meredith that kind of made me do a little pause on Bronwyn. I still like her, but I'm on pause with Bronwyn a little bit. I am. Don't like any of them. Maybe Bronwyn and Angie. I like this. Yeah. She did. She called him out. I was like, how you just gonna mess up somebody's name and you talking all this shit?
Heather is doing that to try and be funny. Heather don't need to talk about nobody's man on this show, no matter how good or bad they are, until she can get one of her own. Because clearly she's dating people, because the guy that Brittany brought, she was like, oh yeah, I've made out with him. But clearly these men don't seem to want anything more from you. I can't tell you if Heather's conservative. I can't tell you if she's fast. I can't tell you if she'll give it up on the first night type of gal. I can't tell you any of that because we ain't seen her date nobody as quiet as Skip. And the one person that she did have couldn't tolerate her ass, so much so that in the middle of this girl having some sort of a stroke or something on her face, which has caused her to look the way that she looks, so she says, even though old pictures show she just been unattractive from out the womb and upbringing. But, she claims that this man didn't want her and wasn't supportive of her when she went through something medically. And I know we like to always look and blame the men, but the way that Heather is behaving on this show, how we get to see a little bit more of her negativity, I'm like, did you drive the man crazy and he don't want to deal with your ass, Heather? What's really going on? You don't show us nothing, but you got something to say about Bronwyn's Allen, aka Todd. But you can't keep a man to save you, and you can't get one without Ozempic. So what's really good? Don't laugh at me, husband. He in the back laughing. All right, I'm gonna behave, y'all. I'll be good.
Damn, I don't even need to go further. That was a read.
It wasn't a
No,
read.
no,
It was.
no,
It
you will
was
not. No, you will not. That
oh,
was a read. You read Heather for absolute filth.
it's the truth. I just want to know. We done seen the
Ooh,
most unattractive of unattractive. We have watched Humpty Dumpty find a man on TV, but not Heather. But not Heather. I'm just
ooh.
saying. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to tell you this. That's exactly what Heather be giving Nia. That's a good point. But I don't even know, I don't even remember what just happened. You just read Heather for absolute filth.
I
One
didn't
thing I
mean
will say.
to. I'll be good. Don't cancel me, y'all. I ain't got shit no way.
One thing I will say about the table is that say what y'all want about Todd. Todd do show up for Brahma though. He don't even want to be on this show, but he gonna show up for his wife.
What's up? He does.
Well, I might not see eye to eye with Todd because he was correcting her at that table too. But I was like, okay, Todd, don't do this in front of people like this. Like, no, okay, no, don't do this, don't do this. But y'all, shout out to Color Me Pink because that's where I first
Not
heard.
the rock star meatloaf. Okay,
Oh,
I
I'm
apologize.
yeah.
Jim
Yeah,
Buddy.
I didn't like that he was. I forgot what they was even talking about at that table for him to correct her like he did. But I was
I
like,
feel
okay,
like Todd, it may be correct in Bronwyn because maybe he's seeing another side of her that may not be authentically how she interacts that he is used to. Because not Heather looks like
I
Thanos.
am not going here with y'all. What is going on in this chat?
Donnie, you
Oh
got
my
my husband
god!
cracking up. I can't-
Wait, I was not ready. Oh damn!
and when she finally gets a ring from a man, it's gonna be like her finally getting that fifth stone to control all of the
No, she's gonna be
universe.
like Sheree. Heather gonna be like Sheree on this show. Heather
Okay.
gonna be just like Sheree. That's I call Heather Sheree 2.0 because that's Sheree 2.0. Yes, it just even though Sheree is beautiful, fit, fine, something about Sheree's like demure is ugly. That's just how I see it. We love it when she do it. She like to come to my channel just all prim and proper and don't do anything. I got to fight this up out of her. That's why I stay quiet that entire time. I'm gonna let her go in. But yeah,
I cannot. I'm trying
yeah,
to.
I'm
I'm
gonna
trying
let
to
her
be
go
better.
in. I'm
I'm
gonna let
trying to
her
be a
go in.
Christian woman. Hell.
Oh, okay. I'm doing too much. I'm not going here. I'm not going here.
Oh
Okay, let's get
damn.
to the episode.
Ooh. Maybe
Ooh,
that's why
ooh,
Martell liked her.
yeah.
Maybe that's why Martell liked her.
Y'all already know how I feel about Martell, but we go. That's another live later tonight. That's another live later tonight. So, anyways, y'all, Lisa brings up Mary, and this is where I'm like, okay, I wish we can just cancel all of them at this table. It's so out of character for Mary what she did at the campground. And Meredith was like, I love Mary and I've always supported her when no one else would. I was always her champion. I was in her corner, even when I questioned some of the things that she was doing. And it was like, ooh,
If you love somebody, just
ooh.
support them and be in their corner. That's how you know that people wasn't really genuinely being supportive. If you have to bring up, I supported you when no one else did. So what, bitch? Ain't that what friendship is? The hell? The hell? It's been times I done went off on people. It might have been wrong. James was still in my corner. Leona was still in my corner. Megan, not Farquad looking at. Or Farquad. I'm going straight to hell. I'm not smoking no more before live. Y'all got me in tears.
She's not. Meredith was never Mary's friend. Because y'all have to understand something. Meredith, you may think you was standing by her corner, but you knew she was the
Mm-hmm.
glue to the show.
Yep.
And you knew y'all needed her. So you can miss me with that. You were being strategic the same way Mary just didn't care. That's the thing, because Mary doesn't need the show. Well, I don't know. Lately, it seems like she does now. But Mary at the time didn't need the show. She really didn't. So for you to sit up there and act like you were so supportive and in her corner and all this, no, you were being strategic because you know the fans wanted Mary back. So if you in the ends with her, that means you were coming back next season.
Yeah, I
Let's
think
not act like
Meredith pays a lot of attention to what goes on with the community and the audience that watches this show. She pays a lot of attention, and she flipped out on Whitney about that phone. I definitely think that Meredith has stuff in that phone. She's not as innocent as she seems, but I do think that of everyone on the cast, she pays attention the most to what the audience is saying, doing, and how they're feeling. So much so that she pays so much attention to the audience that she don't have shit to give herself.
this is another thing right here because she was on the outs.
She
She was
is.
season two. We're not going to act like season two didn't happen, where everyone was coming at you, especially for Jen, and throwing you to the wayside. Your own best friend threw you to the wayside, talking about you at half New York. But Mary's the problem. Okay, 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 Meredith. Y'all, I'm so through with Meredith. Y'all, Meredith can kick rocks. I don't want to see Meredith next season because she brings nothing. I
I've
don't.
been saying I've been saying that I think Meredith needs to leave the show.
And I used to like
She's
Meredith. Like, y'all,
I
Meredith, first
mm-mm.
season, I liked her. I liked Meredith. It was when Meredith was electrocuting Whitney and Heather. That's when I liked her. Because I said, yep, I'm going to like you because that was clever as hell. She said, y'all going to stop talking about me. And she turned that shit way up. And they couldn't take it. I said, not her electrocuting them. I did was on demand. Meredith was my favorite at one point. I would say because she was likable. I don't know what happened with Meredith. I don't. Do you believe Mary Thompson? No, I don't. And let me tell you why. I believe because I know she's suing her accountant, and I believe that she can't pay it. I just think she was unaware of it because of he's let a
I
lot
think
of
it's one of the houses. She has a marriage with somebody who is old enough to quite literally be her grandfather. I think that some of these houses she might have obtained that he had from the first marriage because we know she got that money from the grandma, and that's probably why the grandma wanted her to marry that man so that he could keep reaping the benefits in
Mhm,
some way. But Robert Sr. is never on camera. He's
mhm.
never with her. Even in the earlier seasons when he was around, it was very rare that he's with her. And nobody that old traveling that much. I think that these are things that he may have done with her money, along with the whole issue with her accountant.
Mhm.
I think the house is or was in foreclosure
Right.
because they're not going to report that if it did not happen. But as we all know, the way credit works, if you pay off a car right now, but your payment last month was late, it's not going to show that that car paid off and reflect on your credit report sometimes until the month after. So I think that's the situation, but I don't think it was Mary's doing. I think that Robert Sr. is extremely irresponsible, which we can kind of see through the situation with her child and what he's dealing with. He's
Yes.
hardly around, he's very absent. So I don't think that Mary's really struggling. But yeah, definitely think Robert Sr. is fucking up the church's pieces of change. That's my opinion.
Well, because it did. I told Mrs. Best, and I commented on that Facebook post. Somebody who owns a mortgage company, it's hard for me to believe their house is in foreclosure. It's hard for me to believe that. Like I said, I think it was doing of her accountant because she is suing her accountant that allegedly. I have to say allegedly because that hasn't went to trial yet, but she is suing her accountants because a lot of things lapse, like the church, something with the church, another one of their businesses, like one of the like. There's a long list of things that have not been paid that they're responsible to pay. So I don't know. I just feel like that probably was on the wayside because I feel like that house has to be paid off. And I feel like maybe they took out the mortgage to renovate the church because that's what she's doing. I don't know. I can't count that lady's pockets, but I do know that that's going to go away. I already know it's going to go away. She got desperate for her snowflake and began acting a fool to secure a spot. Speaking of Meredith,
Yep. Because she had no story. Meredith has given nothing since season one, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. And part of what turned me off of Salt Lake City, because I stopped watching after like that Asian lady, the Nguyen, the
Mhm.
racist lady that was on the show. I stopped watching after that, but struggled with season one because I was like, okay, half of these women have no storyline. Lisa don't give nothing. We don't really see her doing anything with her tequila. We don't really see much between her and her husband. And she's never raising her kids on camera, so we don't see that. Whitney, she has storylines, but I don't think she'll ever come off as authentic until they're there. Heather is given nothing ever. Mary has a lot to give. Meredith is the one who has nothing to give, is the most boring. I'm sorry. I'm about to come at this old lady. Y'all do not attack me. Eventually, the makeup artist is going to run out of techniques and ideas to keep this lady from looking like she does not and has not had her AARP card for at least a buck 20. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Lisa with the fast food, Dimples on Demand. Look at your cute little picture. Y'all be so pretty in your
I
pictures.
really
Just
do. I
want to
love
shout
it.
that
I
out.
really love it.
But yeah, Meredith got nothing to give. Nothing to give. I'm sick of her. I want to see her get a BBL though. She could actually use one. That's just my personal
Anytime you
opinion.
see a G Wagon go through a drive through, as many times as you see Lisa's, and then we have a problem. We have a real problem here.
That's why
Um,
the tequilas
yeah,
be
she is a
joking.
horror.
She spending all her money on Wendy's and Taco Bell that the tequila is just trash. I want to try it, and I cannot find Lisa's tequila.
You have to
I've
go on her
tried.
website because I'm about to buy a bottle. I don't try it too. I just want, and then I'm gonna get. I'm about
Why
two.
can't I go to Total Wine or Beverages and More?
I
Why
don't
do
know
I?
why she. Okay, I don't know why she's not in those stores. I don't know, but I just know that you have to go on her website and buy. Because I'm gonna buy two bottles. I'm gonna give somebody a bottle, and then I'm gonna drink one for myself just to see what it tastes.
Lisa, Taka vodka can be found anywhere. Do better. That's all
Maybe
I'm
they
saying.
had a tasting for it and it wasn't successful. I wouldn't put it in my store if it was mediocre, like Todd said. So I mean, hey, I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna move on because I have to get to another live here. We have to do Bell Collective and make sure all y'all show up for Bell Collective too. But the last scene, which was the heart wrenching scene of this whole situation. So Mary goes up to her son's room and goes inside, and she has to give him the talk. I know she was dreading this talk, but she had to talk to him. And what we learned about this scene was that he was on Adderall, he was on cocaine. Mary knew about the weed and him getting high and the edibles, but she didn't know Adderall, she didn't know Xanax, she didn't know nothing about that stuff. And he said at one point he was mixing, what was it, like 10 Xanax with Adderall, about to kill himself. And I said, oh my God. Like, and he told her like he wanted to unalive himself. And because of her, he did. And when he said that, Mary was like, I'm not here to judge you, but you have to stop because you wake up every day. There's people who don't wake up, and you wake up. And she goes, it would hurt me if something happened to you because before you, I was never happy. And when Mary said that, my heart broke for Mary. It really did. It broke. I broke for Mary because to say you were never happy until your son got here. That's deep, y'all. That is real, real deep. Because she has talked about her childhood, and it made me think about how she said her mom was always trying to find a man, so she was never home. And then she married, her grandmother's husband. It's like, y'all, this lady did not have any happiness, and she had everything at her disposal. So that just goes to show you that money doesn't buy happiness, but I'm one of those people that if you use it in the right way, it can. But I'm just saying, but to hear this, and I love how she handled this. I love how she handled approaching her son with it because I could tell y'all having a black mom, my mom doesn't handle things that delicately. She doesn't. It's very much, you know better, you know right from wrong, it's all those things that kind of can feel like an attack. Mary really just opened up her heart and said, look, I got you. Yeah, the 10 oxy, yeah, this kid did everything. And this is also a true statement as well.
I think that that's a statement that needs to be researched more. And I
Mhm.
know that they are actively researching that more in psychological communities and all of that.
Yeah,
Because one of the first things they teach you when you're trying to go into counseling or psychology is that you cannot heal or treat anyone without understanding their spiritual and religious values and faith. So I definitely feel like being raised in the church does mess up kids more so than it blesses and sanctifies them, as the church likes to make you believe, because it puts on an unreasonable amount of pressure. And some of what Mary said about how Robert Jr. always excelled and was doing great in school around the time when a kid excelling and doing great in school, which is like your sophomore, junior year, is very important in high school. That's the age he spoke about. I started at 16. So I feel like maybe all of that pressure to do well finally just like he felt the weight of it. But I definitely think Mary did a great job raising her child just because he felt safe to expose his
Yes.
emotions and
Yes.
feelings. He said, fuck the camera, my mom's here, I'm safe. So that shows you something, but I'm side eyeing the daddy.
I am too. I'm side eyeing him just because where are you when your son is going through this? And why does Mary have to handle this alone? Like, why does she have to handle this? Why can't you come to town and be there for her and your son? Like, where are you? Because the fact that he's always gone and Mary feels like she has to rescue her son, I don't like that. Especially because at the end of the day, even though the marriage is really weird, you're still in it and you still have a responsibility for your son. And so I don't understand like where the hell Robert Sr. is, but he needs to show up. I need to see him.
Because
That's all
most
I'm saying.
pastors for parents or parents that raise their kids in the church would have been like, "Can we cut the camera? Can y'all take the mics?" They would have tried to pause the conversation, but you could tell that she recognized like he's getting it out. Let me not interrupt that and just get it out. But yeah, that just sad, really sad.
I remember her saying that. I do. I remember her saying that, and the image of Alfred Woodard and down in the Delta came to mind when Mary said that because I that's how I picture she did it. I don't know why. I just think that thing just popped back in my head. Y'all have never seen the movie Down in the Delta. It is a great movie, but that's how I picture Mary Cosby. I did. That's how I pictured her. Was there anything else you want to add, Mrs. Best, before we go?
Yeah, the most important thing which should be added, I think that the scene brought a lot of emotion for people because America is in a drug crisis. We're seeing more and more people struggle with drugs, even people who have not wanted to do harder drugs just because unfortunately fentanyl is in everything. I'm sorry, y'all, the social worker and counselor and me gonna come out. So I think it's important for anybody triggered because I was in tears because my spouse experienced struggles at one point with drugs and you don't realize what it's like until you go through it oftentimes. And whether it's your child or whoever, if you love someone and you see them harming themselves, there's nothing that you can do and you know that to stop them. So I do think it's important to acknowledge that Mary did something that was very brave. Her son did something that was very brave. I think that a lot of people can learn from it. This is the best way to come at someone when you're learning that they have a serious problem because if you come at them with you're wrong, you're this, you're that, they know that they are wrong. That's why they were hiding the fact that they were getting high from whoever's important to them. But sometimes surrounding people with love and understanding can really, really be helpful. And I'm glad that she shared a moment realer than any of these women in all seasons of this show. And I'm extremely disgusted with Meredith and the other people because it shouldn't take you if someone's really your friend. It shouldn't take you having to watch something on television to know that they were going through something as deep as this. But she's been saying the whole season she's concerned about Robert. She has some worries about Robert Jr. She's been said this to people like Meredith, but they still choose to ignore it. But everybody goes through something, and so we just should never judge people because you never know what they're going through. And I hope he gets sober.
Have the ladies come out on Twitter or social media to send their support to Mary? I'm just curious.
I haven't seen anything. I saw BravoCon, the little Watch What Happens Live from Miami, and Meredith seemed more concerned with making it clear that she did not know this was happening versus being concerned for her friend's child. Because I would be concerned for my friend's child.
She would have been my first phone call. If I
Yeah.
had no idea that this happened and I'm seeing it on TV, she would have been my first phone call. I know they didn't. I know not one of them did. I know not one of it. I'm Googling it now just to see if anybody has spoken up on oh page six just slammed Bravo for using this as a storyline.
Yeah, because that boy is not a part. of this show. He's very young. He's very young. So you guys want to use his struggle as a storyline, but I'm sure these other heifers got kids that's been doing stuff that's wrong as well. But they want to use the kid for a storyline, that's fine. No one's going to respect this cast or Bravo for what they did. Showing if you know someone struggling with addiction, you call this number. Like, that's not going to help. I was in tears and so upset after this episode aired because I've personally gone through this with a lot of my clients, my loved ones, people in my life. I have a mother in law, unfortunately, who overdosed and had a stroke and almost died. So, for me, I was in tears and had to actually do like grounding exercises on myself that I would do for other people. And I just feel like Bravo missed the mark with how they handled it. If you're going to show something like this, you need to do a little bit more. Hell, even Love and Hip Hop had a discussion about the origins of racism after Erica called that girl a monkey. So it's like you can do better if you want to, Bravo, or you can be concerned about a check. But after this, I wouldn't be surprised if Mary does not continue on with this show. And the fact that she continued to film while her child was going through all of that is mind blowing.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. All the other housewives of all other franchises spoke on this, but none of her cast members. So yeah.
Because they get together and they were probably like, we probably shouldn't speak on it. We're damned if we do, damned if we don't. I feel like Heather and Lisa are running how the cast responds to stuff. And that's why I want Heather to be off the show, or Lisa or Meredith. One of them need to go.
Hmm. Absolutely. They all need to. In my opinion, I feel like bring Monica back and let Monica marry Bronwyn and Angie and Whitney do the show and fire them three. Because I'm telling you, that's terrible. It is so terrible. But um, that's just even if it was, yeah. And that's the thing, they don't care. So, but Mary's a true warrior, you guys. As I said, she has now moved. I am sorry, Sutton Strack. I love you to pieces, but you are surprising me this season, so I got to bump your spot. Mary is now my all-time favorite housewife for this reason. I loved how she handled it. I loved where she is. And that's crazy that I just moved up Mary to my number one spot now because it was Sutton for years, for at least two.
I
So
heard that Mary caused the Salt Lake City cameras to come back because they want to document her divorce also. So Mary's willing to share her life on camera. She's willing to share her child and her struggles on camera. She has finally gotten her hair together a little bit compared
a
to
little bit.
previous seasons. Um, she aligns with what a housewife is. I think she just is on the wrong franchise.
I think so as well. I can't see her on any other franchise, but I think she is on the wrong. I don't think she needs to be here. These ladies don't respect her, and I wish Mary would leave so we can see what the ratings really do. I
Yeah.
want to see what the ratings really do
Let
once Mary
Mary
leaves.
leave and don't bring back nobody new.
Yep.
And
Let
then
me
you'll
see.
see what it does. Because if you have to keep bringing people back new, because none of these other heifers give anything alone, then that means you need to get rid of the people who keep causing you to have to hire new people, Bravo, and just hire new people who are going to work for the
They
money.
tried that. It didn't work. See, that's what we have season 3 for. They tried it. They had to bring Mary back, make sure all the women understood. That's why they did that commercial on YouTube for Mary. They said
Hmm.
Mary is back, and she wasn't even a main cast member. That's how you know she was the glue.
And
So
Heather admitted it.
absolutely, yep. So when Mary is gone, so am I. That's the only reason why I picked it up. Honestly, y'all, I was not after how they did Monica. I was not coming back, but they said Mary will be a full-time cast member, and I'm always going to support her. So I'm doing this because of Mary. Any other reason? Once Mary leaves the show, I'm gone too. And I
No,
feel like
for
that's
real.
how a lot of us feel.
I
Even the
think
ones that
Bravo
don't like
underestimates its audiences of color, though, as a whole.
it.
They underestimate and definitely don't expect for us to watch the way we watch. But Mary does a good job of reading people. She does a good job of doing it with class. She's not the type that's gonna holler and get you put out of places. But the rest of them are, so they can go.
Absolutely. But that was pretty much the episode, you guys. We have to move on because I have to do Bell Collective. Make sure you guys all show up for Bell Collective now because we got to make sure we get this momentum going. But I appreciate everybody who was here. You guys you guys keep us here all the time. Like, we love, me and Mrs. Best always talk about you guys. Like, we love the interactions. We love how on par you guys are with us. I love all of this. So I appreciate you guys so, so much. We will see you guys in our next live. Hopefully you guys all make it there. And thank you guys for tuning in to our recap and review of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And I'll see you guys on my next recap. Bye-bye now.